Evening, I'd like to call to order the regular business meeting of Plymouth Township Council, Tuesday, October 14, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, just a few announcements before we get to our continued public hearing. Our first announcement, council met in an executive session on October 6, 2025 to discuss collective bargaining and potential litigation matters. A second announcement, just so we can move it up and our officers can get back to work. Chief John Merciades would like to introduce our new chaplain. Chief. Police chaplain.
Thank you. Please allow me to introduce you to the newest member of our family, our police chaplain, Father Bob Gross. Father Bob grew up in Long Island, New York. He comes from an Irish and Italian Catholic family, and his brother is currently with the New York City Police Department, where he has served for the past 10 years. Father Bob graduated from Loyola College in Maryland with a double major in economics and sociology, after which he moved to the Maniac section of Philadelphia. Father Bob was ordained into the priesthood in 2014 after attending St. Charles Seminary for 6 years. Currently, he serves as the pastor of Visitation Parish in Eagleville. Father Bob describes his calling as one of service and to be a bridge to people and their spirituality wherever they are on their faith journey. He has a strong affinity for law enforcement and will be available to them and their families whenever he can. Please welcome Father Bob. I'd like him to come up and introduce himself.
Welcome.
It wouldn't be. It's why I'm here.
All right, and those who have to leave are welcome to leave at this moment. And I am now going to turn the meeting over to our solicitor, Michael Clark, for a continuation of our zoning map amendment application.
Thank you, Ms. Bramlett. On September 8th, the board conducted a public hearing on the zoning map amendment application for the property located at 523, 525, 527, and 531 Plymouth Road. At the conclusion of the public hearing, a motion on the vote to table the vote was held, and it passed. It was originally tabled, we announced at the meeting until last night, October 13th, realizing that last night was, there was a special occasion last night and the board was not going to meet. It has been moved to this evening. It has been properly advertised, and I would like to mark as Exhibit Township 8 a notice of the affidavit of publication indicating that it appeared in the Times Herald and the Times Herald Digital Edition on September 29, 2025, and again on October 6, 2025. I would like to mark as T9 a map of where the property was posted, the 5 different locations on the property. Included in T9 would be photographs of the posting of the 5 locations on the property. As I've indicated at the last hearing, the hearing and the opportunity for public comment occurred on September 8th. So all that is appropriate for this evening is for council to make comments and to vote. The applicant is here. The applicant's attorney is here. If council has any questions, this is being stenographically recorded, so it would be part of the record. But I believe most of the questions of I shouldn't say applicant, he's not the applicant, the property owner, occurred at the September 8th hearing. So, council, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Are there any additional questions from any members of council? Hearing none, I would like to have a motion by Mr. Nelson.
Yes, I'd like to move that Township Council appoint Ordinance 1713, amending the Plymouth Township zoning ordinance, ordinance number 342 as amended, and map, to change the zoning map classification of parcels 49-00-04511-50-7, 49-00-04511-00-3, 49-00-04510-00-4, and 49-00-04512-00-2 from the current zoning classification to D residential district per the attachment.
We have a motion to adopt by Mr. Nelson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Whitney. Any comments from members of council?
I'd like to make a comment, as Chair.
Sure, Ms. Vizio.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a comment about the reason that I had moved to delay the vote at our September meeting. In retrospect, I should have made the comment at the time I made the motion, but since I didn't, I actually would like to make the comment now. First, I always appreciate when our residents join us at meetings and share their comments, their questions, their concerns. It's a very important and valued part of council's decision-making process, and we truly appreciated the residents who commented at the September 8th meeting. Upon the conclusion of the hearing, I moved to delay the vote to ensure that each member of council had time to fully and individually reflect on and consider what we had heard before we took the vote. Further, I might suggest that in the future, as a council, when there's a great deal of comment on a hearing issue, that we consider as practice, when it's permitted by law for us to do so, that we separate the vote from the hearing, so we always allow adequate time for reflection and thorough consideration of any decision we're about to make.
Thank you, Ms. Vizio. Are there any other comments from members of council before we take a vote?
I have a comment. I just want to provide some of the reasoning for what vote I'm going to make.
Sure,
that
Mr. Nelson.
possible? So, yeah, I wanted to provide a brief explanation, due in part because some folks have had to show up twice to hear about this particular issue, about why I'm voting to approve this motion, to approve this map amendment. There are a number of reasons I support this map amendment. The first, and I think the foremost, is that this developer is a trusted developer who the township has worked with in the past and had good experiences with in the past. Number two, and related to my first point, is that there's a potential that, were we to deny this map amendment, another developer could come into us with a proposed development that they could accomplish by right under the existing zoning, which is far more disruptive to the surrounding community and our township than this proposed development. Many comments we received last month were centered around the idea that we could wait for something better. These comments and that mindset overlook the greater possibility that we could wait and receive something worse. Number three, we have already gotten lucky with this property. Just last year, Mission Kids purchased one of the buildings and is putting it to use helping kids who have been victims of abuse. In our current landscape, I think we all have to recognize how rare that is. As the developer testified to last month, a very small fraction of their buildings have tenants, a small fraction of the buildings have been used, and yet an entire building was purchased last year and is being used in a way that has little, if any, impact on the surrounding community. Number four, the approval of this map amendment is not the end of this developer's road towards actually beginning construction. They will still need to go through the subdivision and land development application process. Finally, I want to highlight the comments about affordability that were brought up at last month's meeting. I too would like development in Plymouth Township to prioritize affordability. However, as we saw from the map provided at last month's meeting, these townhomes would be sandwiched between apartments and single-family residences and create a natural and reasonable transition from more dense housing to less dense housing. A condition that, as I've been told, is prioritized and sought after by city planners. Additionally, it is likely very suspect the impact we as a township will be able to have on affordability in our area. Even if we were to force the issue and the developer created a plan that packed in many more units, the price of each would likely still be unaffordable to most, and we would likely give up some of the benefits of the current proposal, such as lesser paved surface, more green space, and the quality of the construction that Mr. Payon is proposing. Therefore, I will be voting to support this map amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Are there any other comments by members before we take the vote? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Sorry, had my mic off. Mr. Nelson.
In favor.
Ms. Leonard.
In favor.
Ms. Vizio.
In favor.
Mr. Whitney.
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor.
Thank you.
At this moment, would it be appropriate, Mr. Clark, to close?
No, the hearing was a portion of last month. This is just your vote. There's none of these.
Okay, thank you. Yes, if there was anyone here just for the zoning hearing continuation, you are free to leave if you so desire. Or stay. We have exciting things to come.
I'm trying to find, are you returning the letter of credit tonight or this week? Then I'll hang out. Okay. Yeah, I saw it. Thank you. See you soon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Payon. Right, next, I would like to make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for the September 2nd, 2025 council workshop and the September 8th, 2025 regular meeting. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Vizio. Any questions or comments from council or from the public? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor.
Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. All right, next, I would like to make a motion that we approve the departmental reports and schedule of bills for September 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Ms. Vizio?
In favor.
Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. All right, next we have a motion to approve a change order for the Harmonville Fire Company. This is by Mr. Whitney.
I move that Township Council approve change order number 1, Harmonville Fire Company Station 2 rebuild construction project in the amount of $4,311.62.
Mr. Whitney, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Any questions or comments from council? Any comments from members in the audience? Hearing none, we'll now move to a roll call vote. Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor.
Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next, we have another motion to approve a change order by Ms. Vizio.
I move that the Township Council adopt Resolution 2025-38, change order approval authorization per the attachment, which I will read. Mr. Clark, I assume you should read this resolution as well?
Okay. Ms. Vizio made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Ms. Vizio, will you please read the change order resolution?
Yes, resolution number 2025-38, a resolution of the Township of Plymouth, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the township manager to execute change order requests in a total sum not to exceed $10,000 for the Greater Plymouth Community Center natatorium renovations and the Harmonville Fire Company Plymouth Valley Station rebuild. Whereas the Township of Plymouth is a duly organized home rule municipality existing and operating in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and whereas pursuant to Section 301 of the Home Rule Charter, all powers of the township are vested in and exercised by a council, including the power to make and adopt ordinances and resolutions consistent with the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth and the Home Rule Charter. And whereas the Council of Plymouth has approved the following township projects: the Greater Plymouth Community Center natatorium renovations and the Harmonville Fire Company Plymouth Valley Station rebuild. And whereas the executed contracts for both projects aforementioned above allow changes in the project work to be accomplished by change order requests subject to the approval of council at its regularly scheduled meetings. Whereas the Council of Plymouth desires to authorize the township manager, Matt West, to execute change order requests in a total sum not to exceed $10,000 for the Greater Plymouth Community Center natatorium renovations and the Harmonville Fire Company Plymouth Valley Station rebuild, prior to the Council of Plymouth granting approval of said change order requests at the following scheduled meeting. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Township Manager, Matt West, is hereby authorized to execute change order requests in a total sum not to exceed $10,000 for the Greater Plymouth Community Center natatorium renovations and the Harmonville Fire Company Plymouth Valley Station rebuild, prior to the subsequent approval of the Council of Plymouth. Duly presented and adopted by Plymouth Township Council at a public meeting held this 14th day of October, 2025.
Before we take a vote, any comments or questions from members of council?
I would just add a quick comment, just to summarize what this is and why. So by granting Mr. West the authority to move these change orders along, we allow those two projects to keep moving along at a better pace, rather than sometimes waiting weeks for council to meet again before we approve it. So it's allowing both of those projects to continue, at a good pace and on schedule.
Thank you. And I would just add that there is a limit of $10,000 on these change orders, and that they will be reviewed and voted on by council at the next scheduled meeting. Any comments from members of the public? All right, hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor?
And the chair votes in favor. All right, moving on, our next motion to adopt a resolution. Ms. Leonard?
Sorry, mic wasn't on. I move that Township Council adopt Resolution 2025-39, disposition list, destruction of old police documents per the attachment. Resolution 2025-39. Whereas by virtue of Resolution number 1991-53, adopted November 11th, 1991, Plymouth Township declared its intent to follow the procedures for disposition of records as set forth in the Municipal Records Manual of Pennsylvania, approved December 16th, 2008. And whereas, in accordance with Act 428 of 1968, each individual act of disposition shall be approved by resolution of the governing body of the municipality. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, in accordance with the above cited Municipal Records Manual, hereby authorizes the disposition of the following public records: Police Department, records of employee forms, applications, records, dispatched documents, NCIC records, vehicle accidents, and payroll documents. Total 43 boxes.
Thank you, Ms. Leonard. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Vizio. Any questions or comments from council? From anybody in the audience? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor?
Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next, a motion to adopt a resolution for PennDOT winter maintenance. Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. I move that Township Council adopt Resolution 2025-40, PennDOT Winter Maintenance Services Agreement per the attachment.
Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Vizio. Mr. Nelson, do you want to give a summary of the PennDOT Winter Maintenance Services Agreement?
Am I supposed to give a summary or read it? That's a good question. Okay. So there's a resolution approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for the performance of winter maintenance services.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson, and this is something that we do each year. We agree with PennDOT. Any questions or comments from council or the audience? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor?
Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next by Mr. Whitney is a motion for waiver of land development to be read by Mr. Whitney.
I move that Township Council adopt Resolution 2025-41, waiver of land development, Rocco's Italian Sausages, 200 Allenwood Road, per the attachment.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Whitney. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Before we proceed to vote, Mr. Whitney, will you please give a summary of the Rocco's Italian Sausages resolution?
Summary, just read. This one's a short one.
Oh,
I think I can read
you
it.
can read it.
Be it resolved that Plymouth Township Council does hereby waive the land development approval requirements for the installation of an outdoor food trailer, the facility on property located at 200 Allenwood Road, being Montgomery County Tax Parcel number 49-00-00000-70-7, the property, as depicted on a plan prepared by Trailer King Builders on behalf of Rocco's Restaurant Group, LLC. Subject to the following conditions. Number one, that the owner and developer shall comply with all sections of the Plymouth Township Code of Ordinances. Number two, the owner-developer shall comply with the conditions set forth in the May 30th, 2025 decision of the Plymouth Township Board of Building Code Appeals. Number three, that the owner-developer shall prepare and submit revisions to the plan, if any, as required by the township engineer. Number four, prior to the issuance of any permits, all outstanding legal, engineering, and administrative fees applicable to this land development, if any, must be paid by owner-developer. And number five, this approval is subject to the fulfillment of all the foregoing conditions in their entirety, and no permit shall be issued, nor shall any development take place on the property unless and until all such conditions are fulfilled. Duly presented and adopted by Plymouth Township Council at a public meeting held on the 14th day of October, 2025.
And to summarize further, there'll be a food truck outside Home Depot by Rocco's Sausages for feeding some hungry people as they shop indoors. Any other comments or questions from council about this, from members of the audience? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor?
Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next, I would like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-42. I move that Plymouth Township Council adopt Resolution 2025-42, 663 Fulton Street handicap space per the attachment. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. The attachment resolution reads, or summarized, that there will be a handicapped parking space from Teresa Collier at 663 Fulton Street, that the Public Works Department has determined that a designated handicap parking space is warranted and therefore shall be installed on the street as close as possible to the residents located at 663 Fulton Street, indicating that the parking space has been reserved for a handicapped person, that no parking is allowed there by others who are not handicapped, and that any unauthorized person parking there shall be subject to a fine. And further resolved that Ms. Teresa Collier will have the authority to issue statements to violators or violating vehicles for violation of the resolution. Any questions or comments from council before we proceed to a vote? Any questions or comments from members in the audience? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor?
Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. All right, next, a motion to approve an escrow release. Ms. Leonard?
I move that Township Council approve escrow release number 1 for Brixmore Property Group, Plymouth Square Shopping Center, in the amount of $1,040,551.88.
Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Vizio. Any comments or questions from council? From members of the audience? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Leonard?
In favor.
Mr. Nelson?
In favor.
Ms. Vizio?
In favor?
Mr. Whitney?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Next, motion by Ms. Vizio regarding a maintenance bond.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. I move that Township Council approve release of maintenance bond obligations regarding Plymouth Valley Estates in the amount of $290,000 per the attachment, which I will reference.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Leonard. Ms. Vizio, will you summarize the release of maintenance bond obligations?
Absolutely. I have a letter from Mr. Lonnie Manai referencing Plymouth Valley Estates, also known as Driscoll Track. Mr. Manai had the opportunity to perform field views and noted that the improvements installed in conjunction with the 3 phases of construction at Plymouth Valley Estates, formerly the Driscoll Track, located at Johnson Plymouth Road, Johnson Road, and Gallagher Road in our community. The report found that the site was complete with regard to the required improvements.
Thank you, Ms. Vizio. Any comments or questions from members of council? Any questions or comments from members in the audience? Yes, will you please give us your name and whether you live in Plymouth Township?
Paulette Jones, yes, I live in Plymouth Township.
Okay. Ms. Jones, could you come to the podium? Just, we have somebody who later listens to all of this and writes up our minutes. So thank you, Dr. Jones. Appreciate it.
Simply a question. I know that in the previous one, like $1 million and so is being returned, and I imagine, I don't know how much is being returned in this case. So how much interest do we make on that kind of money, and how long have we been holding it? So they get the interest?
It's their money. They've posted it to make sure that the public improvements are completed, and then once it's done, it needs to be returned.
Thank you for the explanation.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, we will proceed to the roll call vote. Ms. Vizio,
In favor.
Mr. Whitney,
In favor.
Ms. Leonard,
In favor.
Mr. Nelson,
In favor.
and the chair votes in favor. All right, next, I would like to make a motion. I move that Plymouth Township Council approve the allocation of the $1,039,884.36 of state pension aid check as follows: $570,163.36 to go to the police pension plan, and $469,681 to the non-uniformed pension plan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Vizio. Any questions or comments from members of council? Or from members of the audience? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. Mr. Whitney,
In favor.
Ms. Vizio,
In favor.
Mr. Nelson,
In favor.
Ms. Leonard,
In favor.
and the chair votes in favor. And our last action item will be by Mr. Whitney.
I move that Township Council appoint Malley LLP as the township's new auditor per the Finance Director's recommendation attached.
Mr. Whitney, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Nelson. Any comments or questions from council or from members of the audience? All right, hearing none, and we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Whitney,
In favor.
Ms. Vizio,
In favor.
Mr. Nelson,
In favor.
Ms. Leonard,
In favor.
and the chair votes in favor. Our information items. First will be read by Mr. Nelson, I think.
Yep, thank you. So there's citizen board, this is a citizen board vacancy announcement. Residents wishing to serve on these citizen boards are asked to submit their resume or a letter expressing their interest to the township manager at 700 Belvoir Road, Plymouth Meeting, PA 19462, or via email at mwest@plymouthtownship.org. The following citizen board positions are currently open. Property Maintenance Code Appeals Board, 3 positions open. Human Relations Commission, 1 position open. And if you want to join me on the Historical Architectural Review Board, or HARB, there are 2 positions open, so come have some fun.
Nelson. All right. Next, announcing our zoning hearings upcoming will be Ms. Vizio.
Thank you. The Zoning Hearing Board of Plymouth Township will hold a public hearing on Monday, October 20th, 2025, commencing at 7 p.m. in the Plymouth Township Building, 700 Belvoir Road in Plymouth Meeting. The first is Kia Williams on an application for a variance from Plymouth Township Zoning Ordinance Number 342, as amended Article 19, Section 1909. The variance requested is as follows. The applicant wants to install a 6-foot fence in a front yard where 2 feet is allowed. This property is located at 102 Alexander Drive in B Residential Zoning District. The second is Jeffrey and Eleni Conrad on an application for a variance from Plymouth Township Zoning Ordinance Number 342, as amended Article 7, Section 702.f. The variance requested is as follows. Relief from impervious surface maximum of 35% for proposed in-ground swimming pool with concrete deck. This property is located at 119 Keys Street in C Residential Zoning District. And the third is 900 Conshohocken LLC on an application for special exception from Plymouth Township Zoning Ordinance Number 342, as amended Article 15, Section 1502.j. The special exception requested is as follows. The applicant requests a data center development using existing building on property consisting of 10 buildings which comprise 1 million square feet to be modified to contain 2 floors, which would result in approximately 2 million square feet of space dedicated to data centers. Ancillary standby generators will be located outside of the existing buildings. Ancillary gas turbines will be located within and between the buildings. Property is located at 900 Conshohocken Road in Heavy Industry Zoning District. And any citizen of Plymouth Township or interested party may attend the public hearing and have an opportunity to be heard.
Thank you, Ms. Vicio. Next, we will have an update on our Parks and Recreation events by Ms. Leonard.
Harriet Weatherhill Park Campfire and Hayride is Saturday, the 18th, this Saturday. Our Veterans Day celebration is on Wednesday, November 5th. We have a holiday market coming up on November 15th, a charcuterie workshop Sunday, the 16th. Our holiday tree lighting ceremony will be on Wednesday, December 3rd. Breakfast with Santa, Saturday, December 13th. Our senior holiday potluck and trivia will be Monday, the 15th. We have weekend warrior classes on Saturdays, 10:18, 11:15, and 12:20. You can learn to crochet on Mondays and Wednesdays. That's a new program. And Extreme Eve's Holiday Boot Camp on Wednesday, 12/24, and Wednesday, 12/31. Pool renovation updates can be found on social media and via email the first week of each month. And we're always looking for fall sponsors. And don't forget, we still have the Plymouth Township Parks and Recreation app for free.
Thank you, Ms. Leonard. Final informational item, the Coneytown update by Mr. Whitney.
Right. On October 9th, the August and September 2025 update was posted to the township website, and Carroll Engineering reported that the construction on the crosswalk is mostly complete and that they are awaiting a request for a final inspection. Pavement markings, asphalt adjustments, and final programming of pedestrian buttons are still outstanding and are expected to be completed in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Whitney. Okay, at this time, we will move to public comment. If you have any comments that you wish to make to council, please come to the podium and give your name and whether or not you live in Plymouth Township. If you don't live in Plymouth Township, that's fine. Just for purposes of the record, we don't need your full street address. So, does anyone have any comments to make? Yes, sir, please come forward.
Hello. Gary Berkman, longtime Plymouth resident. I accept the fact that the 159 townhouses are going to be built, and I think it'll be good for the township with the tax revenue. And I'm just reiterating myself from the last time I was here, respectfully asking for a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign at the beginning of White's Road on both ends. It's only an 800-foot-long road, and there's thousands of cars a week that go on that small road. And I'm thinking at least 5% of those vehicles are doing 50 miles an hour. There's a lot of kids on the road. A lot of people have dogs, and I see a lot of 25-mile-an-hour signs on other roads where I'm sure they don't get as much traffic as White's Road. So would you please consider doing that for the safety of the children and the seniors that walk on White's Road? Just 2 signs.
Berkman, and appreciate that, and certainly our police chief is here and heard you, and thank you very much for that.
You bet. You know, there's going to be more traffic on White's Road after the 159 townhomes are built. That'll probably be 250 more cars, and a lot of them who want to go west on Germantown Pike from that new area. That's the shortcut that they take. With the 25-mile-an-hour sign, maybe some of the FedEx trucks will slow down. I'm on the corner and I hear them gunning it. There's just no reason to floor your engine when you want to go 800 feet. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Berkman. And Chief, I apologize. I think you had more of an update than just introducing Father Bob. And I do apologize for skipping over that. I just saw Father Bob and knew he had done it. So please, Chief, moving back to information items.
I'm not hurt, but thank you.
I know, you are.
Just to let the community know and council know, our social service co-responder had 56 contacts this month in a part-time capacity. And in addition to that, she participated in a podcast that asked her about the duties that she's had here in Plymouth. And just recently, she was contacted by the Times Herald to do a story about the work that she's been doing here. So that should be coming soon. In line with our commitment to traffic calming in the township, we had 62 separate traffic details this month. And then, of course, one of the big things was we welcomed Father Bob, our new police chaplain, and a lot of what he does is to help us promote officer wellness, to assist residents in need, and to assist our efforts with our unhoused community.
Thank you, Chief. And
Thank
on
you.
an unmarked road like White's Road, that's residential, is there already a speed limit by ordinance or state law?
By state law, it's 25 if it's not listed. I will say that if anyone hasn't gone on our, or I believe it's not on there yet, but we have a traffic calming attachment that we're going to put on our township website. And one of the roads that we did, based on this meeting, was White's Road. And it tells you how many cars, the volume, how many per hour, and the average speed in each direction. So it gives you all that information. So I already have that prepared when we have the opportunity to talk about what, if anything, can be done on White's Road, and we'll certainly increase our presence in the meantime.
Thank you, Chief. And
But that will be coming soon. We're just doing final touches. We put some things together. We've gone back and forth with the township manager, and we're just trying to fine tune it.
Okay, thank you. So individual residents like Mr. Berkman can go on the website when it's been finalized and is up to date and look at what the speeding is at different times of day.
Yes.
Perhaps also whether or not, even though by law it's 25 miles an hour, whether or not on your review, speed limit signs would be warranted to let people know.
Right. And in the meantime, I'm always happy. Anybody can contact me. I'll put them in touch with one of our lieutenants or our traffic safety unit, and we'll show them what we have so far, but we'll also discuss what the needs are. Regardless of what the data shows, we're always happy to do extra service. I mean, that certainly doesn't hurt anything. It only helps. So I'll be happy to speak with any of the residents after this meeting and answer some of their questions.
Thank you, Chief, very much. Appreciate that. All right, any other comments from members of the public? Yes, Dr. Jones? Oh, never mind. She raised her hand, but that's okay. Otis is up and moving. No, go ahead. All right, Dr. Jones, yes.
This is really a question about White's Road, and because I understand there's going to be more traffic, and I know the reason I take White's Road is because I can't make a left at Germantown Pike on Johnson. So is that an option to be able to make that road where you can actually make a left?
From Johnson to Germantown.
Yeah, there's some,
Is there a physical barrier there?
right.
There's a median, so,
Well, I see construction all the time. So I didn't know whether that is an option to actually make that able to make a left. Because that's why I think a lot of people are taking that street. You can't make a left until, if you're trying to get to Germantown Pike, you can't make a left.
okay. Is there a median strip there that is a physical barrier, Chief?
You're making me get up again.
Thank you, Chief.
There is a median there, not for the whole road. It's physically possible to do it. You'd probably need a traffic engineer to determine. The problem is you're going across 2 lanes of Germantown Pike, and just before that is a traffic light. So they would have to stop immediately again. But again, this is just my opinion. As far as whether it's possible or doable, it really is up to a traffic engineer to look into.
I don't know what the answer is. I'm just saying that that is part of, the traffic is going to increase. So is that something that maybe needs to be looked at? It may not be viable at the end of the day.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jones.
Also, just to add to that, I think Germantown is a state road,
State Road,
so anything we do
which,
has to go through them.
even once we complete any kind of traffic study that residents request, if it's a state road, we can only pass along what we have discovered in our recommendation, and it's ultimately in the hands of the state, PennDOT, to be precise. All right, thank you. Anybody else?
My name is Artis Lukens. I'm a resident of Plymouth, Cunnytown. First of all, I want to thank everyone, Matt especially, for making sure that that crosswalk got done. Thank you. It has been a real help in the community. We've very much appreciated it. And, you know, walking around the community, I hear everyone like this huge sigh of relief. They really appreciate it. The reason I'm standing here tonight is I messaged Karen about this concern earlier today. About 40 years ago, I'm going to try not to cry about this. About 40 years ago, they put in a sewer system in Cunnytown. It was right after I moved in. It was very expensive. It would have been very expensive for most of the residents to put in these sewer systems. Two women stepped up and they found funding so that a lot of the residents didn't have to pay the full price. They found funding. One of these was Doris Bainey, who was a white woman. Another is an African-American woman by the name of Mary Wilson. Today, when it came time for there to be thank yous given out by the township, Doris Bainey received a thank you. Mary Wilson received nothing. She didn't even receive a thank you. She just, that was the thing. Times have changed. I am asking to see if there is any way we can look into this situation that happened 40 years ago, find out who did the work, and if Ms. Wilson deserves a thank you, then Ms. Wilson should get a thank you from this township council for the work that she did 40 years ago. The woman is still alive. She still lives in the same home in Cunnytown. And I think it would be the right thing to do.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Ms. Lukens. We can certainly look into that and see what we can find in our records. Thank you very much. Anyone else like to make public comment?
Bill Saby, I've been in township 25 years. Greetings, council. I would like to thank you for the progress you have made so far in transitioning municipal operations to clean energy. I encourage you to continue making this a priority to meet our Ready for 100% clean energy goals, which are operating on clean electricity by 2035 and transitioning transportation and heating to clean energy by 2050. A couple of areas I'd like to highlight. At your September workshop, Andy, our EAB chair, presented a proposal to install solar. I know that you have had to delay that decision, but I urge you to keep the federal 30% credit in mind. Plymouth could receive up to $270,000 for the two installations that were proposed. To qualify for that 30% credit, the projects need to start before July 4th, 2026 and finish in 4 years, or starting after July 4th, 2026, need to be completed by the end of 2027. Plus, the township would receive $51,000 from PECO for the first year of production. I also encourage you to strongly consider financing that solar installation as it offers a beneficial financial return on investment. We spoke with a solar developer who has had success finding 5% financing for their clients. Modeling several scenarios estimates that the township could receive a net payback on the investment of between $461,000 to up to $1 million over 30 years. Installing solar locks in a fixed rate of electricity, saving the township from electricity rate increases on the portion of electricity that the solar produces. Electricity cost inflation also affects the township's budget. The township's contract will be due for renewal in November 2026. Your current 3-year November 2023 electricity renewal rate was an increase of 35% from the November 2020 contract. If the township renewed this fall, the current rate would be projected to be a 45% increase over the rate received in November 2023. Comparing the rate between November 2020 and now, it's almost a 100% increase from November 2020, which when it was 4.5 cents a kilowatt hour to 8.8% or cents per kilowatt hour today. If this rate holds up in a year from now, the electricity cost increases for the two buildings will be approximately $75,000 a year. Installing solar would reduce that increase by $45,000 a year. The forecast for electricity rates are likely to continue higher, mostly because electricity generation is so dependent on natural gas-fired power plants. Natural gas prices are increasing due to worldwide demand for LNG exports from the U.S., the growth of data centers to power AI, and delays in our grid operator PJM's process for bringing new generation online. The second area I'd like to mention is to propose guidelines for new development to be more sustainable. I'd like to see this township set expectation goals for all new developments to be electric and solar ready rather than default to using natural gas. With 25 years to 2050, to meet our decarbonization goal, we must find ways to set expectations for developers. In addition to mitigating the damages of climate warming, our air quality and public health will also benefit. I realize that there are many priorities you need to attend to in keeping the township running smoothly and meeting the needs of our neighbors. Kudos for the great work you are all doing. Thank you.
Maybe, it is definitely, I think all of us, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm pretty sure that we all feel the real need to be looking at renewable sources of energy, not just as a township, but as individuals. And it's really necessary. Fossil fuels are dinosaurs. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for the research you have done. Thank you for your persistence in making everybody aware of the importance and necessity of thinking about individually and municipally about ways to help our climate. And the land development guidelines is something we will have to, I have no idea if powers we as a first-class township have, so something we would have to look into legally. That is certainly is an interesting idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to make comment tonight?
Hi, I'm Susan Robinson, Plymouth Township resident. Many of you know me and have seen me speak before. Matt, it's nice to see you not on a Zoom screen. Thank you for all the work you do for the township. I've been serving as the president of Plymouth Little League for the past 4 years, and my tenure is quickly coming to an end, as I will pass the reins to a new leader on November 1st. Serving as the Little League president has been incredibly rewarding. I pride myself as a person that values giving back to their community, and I'm a passionate believer in the power of youth sports. During my time leading Plymouth Little League, we have served over 500 baseball and softball players each spring season. We've built a multi-purpose batting facility, we've launched a new website, rewritten our constitution and bylaws, and adopted a no questions asked financial hardship policy, just to name a few things that I'm proud of. There's so much more that I'm proud of, but there's one project that I have not been able to see through. In October of 2023, an idea was hatched to address the problems with our press box, and by doing our solution was to do some major renovations to Field 2. Shortly after, by December of 2023, we had design plans from an architect and recognized that the scope of the work needed to address the infrastructure problems at East Plymouth Valley Park, and the associated costs were going to be significantly more than we originally anticipated. In early 2024, we launched a capital campaign and raise the necessary funds. In August of 2024, I met with Representative Scott to see if he was able to help us in securing funds. In September of 2024, many of you will remember, I presented at a council meeting and made the ask of the township for some financial support of our project. Shortly after, in December, we were notified by Representative Scott's office that he had secured a $100,000 grant for our project from the state. And we actually received the grant in the early months of 2025. Not long after, we learned that the township had allocated $100,000 in their 2025 budget for dugout work at East Plymouth Valley Park. Thank you for that. In under a year, we had secured $330,000 in funding for our major capital improvement projects, and that would drastically improve our aging baseball and softball infrastructure and greatly improve the park aesthetics for all park users. We had $100,000 from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development in the form of a grant. The league had worked and saved $130,000 over a number of seasons, and the township had allocated $100,000 from their budget. With the finances addressed, we thought we were ready to hit the ground running. We've spent the last 8 months working with the township to get this park improvement project off the ground, and it just does not seem to be gaining the traction we were hoping for. We've faced a number of legal and bureaucratic hurdles. We recognize and fully accept that the league running a construction project on township property outright is not a reality, and that any construction project on township property needs to abide by township and state regulations, including the Responsible Contractor Ordinance. I want to publicly thank Matt West, Rick Carbo, and Phil Brady, who have spent significant time working on this with us. But in spite of our joint efforts, we still don't have a clear plan for how to move forward with this project. The grant we received has a time limit on it, and that's really why I'm here today. It has to be used by June 30th, 2026. And as we watch the months go by, that deadline hangs heavy on my shoulders. The thought of returning the money that Representative Scott worked hard to secure for us makes me sick to my stomach. As of November 1st, I will no longer be the Plymouth Little League president, but I still will remain active in the league and for the next 2 years as my daughter finishes her Little League career. When I walk fully away, I want nothing more than to have seen through all the hard work of so many people on this major park improvement project, and that will serve young athletes in Plymouth Township long into the future. I'm not here to allocate any blame or just vent my frustrations. That doesn't help us with forward progress. I'm here today just to make you aware of where the project stands and advocate for finding a solution to get this project that will be mutually beneficial for both the league and the township off the ground. Any help that you might be able to provide to get the wind back in our sails would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for all the work that you guys do tirelessly on behalf of this township, and appreciate any consideration you could give. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And
I can jump in here, though. Susan, I mean, Matt can correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't have to worry so much about this expiration date. It's not, can you elaborate?
So it's not my grant, but my experience with state grants, so long as you have a plan, they'll work with you on that date. say, oh, we don't have to worry about it. But in my experience, so long as you have a plan moving forward, once you get close to that due date, we connect with our state rep and say, hey, we need a little bit more time. And historically have usually been okay with that.
That's great. Yeah, and I would say that, you know, we're at sort of like this pivotal moment where we have all the right things, right? We have the money. We have the volunteers who are willing to put in the time and the effort, right? And those, like, that can be fleeting, right? Like, you can lose momentum in a volunteer organization, especially when the project was brought by some people and, you know, to hand that over. So I would just say, great. Pushing back the deadline on the grant would be important. We do not want to get, obviously, I don't think anyone in this room wants to hand back $100,000 that the state has allocated to this park. But I also think timeline is important. This project's been ongoing for 2 years from within our organization, a year from partnering with the township. We do want to just see some forward progress at some point, but it is really useful to know that we can push that. It feels very formal when they give it to you. Here's the deadline.
Yes.
Right? And there's a lot of paperwork that comes with it. So you feel like you have to abide by this deadline. So that is helpful to know that we might have some flexibility. And also we still want to get moving.
Oh,
a little
yeah,
bit.
and don't get me wrong, I understand that government moves at a glacial pace. It's a
Yeah.
point of frustration for me because I feel the same way you do. Why can't we just get it done? But there are rules and regulations that we have to follow, and most of the time it's so to ensure that we're spending taxpayer money wisely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have honestly all the faith in the world that this new board coming in will see your plans through.
Yeah, great. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, really appreciate
I just-
that update. It, you know, I made lots of notes, and it's miraculous what you have done. I agree with you that youth sports and baseball are so vitally important in Plymouth Township.
Yes.
We dedicate a lot of our parks and maintenance for it, and I think there's nothing more important than getting kids away from their electronics and outside, running and hitting, working as a team, making friends. It's the best thing in the world about Plymouth, so
Yeah.
thanks for that update.
Yeah.
And I think Ms. Vizio wants to say something.
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you, because I think we all appreciate tremendously anybody in the community who steps up and provides service. So thank you for everything you've done for Plymouth
Absolutely.
Little League, for moving things forward, for making progress, for your innovations. We really appreciate that. Second, I want to say, I also appreciate hearing you say you recognize that we want to be a good partner, because we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the
Matt's
town-
been fantastic the whole way through this process.
That.
Yeah.
Sure, we appreciate you, but we do want to be a good partner. We know sometimes there are some frustrations around timing, but we also do appreciate the time, that there is a timeliness factor, and seeing the progress, seeing some progress forward is what you are expecting and anticipating and hoping for at this point. And just know that we do intend to be a good partner and do what we can to help. And we appreciate that you respect that things
Yeah.
don't move as quickly as you might like,
Yeah,
but we're still going to work together to make it happen as quickly as possible.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Any other members of the audience who want to speak or make any comments to council? Yes, sir. If you can just come to the microphone so that the recording secretary will be able to hear you. And just give us your name and whether you live in Plymouth.
Yeah, hi, everybody. My name is Bill Hoffman. I'm a Plymouth resident for 23 years or so now. I live on 3100 Plymouth Rock Road. And I'm also here along with Susan on behalf of Plymouth Little League. And I missed what Susan said, but it sounds like what I have to say relates to what I heard the two of you saying, which is I wanted to tell a quick story. I didn't have children until about 15 years ago, 14 years ago, and it was about 8 years ago when I enrolled my son in baseball. And we had a fall ball game over at the park, and I had never actually been there. I live across the power lines from the field, and I walked into the park, and it was alive and vibrant, and there were kids running all over, and there were kids playing baseball, and there was a football game happening, and I thought to myself, I can't believe I've lived here for this long and I've never been over here. But when I experienced that, I knew I was in the right place. And so from that point on, a lot of the quality time that I've spent with my children have been over at that park. And that's just a small sample of some of the joy that the park has given us over the years. So the capital campaign that Susan talked about, it's really important to people like myself to continue to improve the park for people that are coming into the neighborhood, coming into the community, and they get a chance to experience the same thing I have for the last 8 or so years, and next 2, 3, or 4, however long it is that I'm supporting Plymouth Little League. So I just wanted to share that quick story as a face to the project, and a little bit behind the people story behind the project. So
Thank you, Mr.
it's
Hoffman.
really important.
Yeah, these personal stories really matter a lot. They really put in perspective how we spend our taxpayer dollars, the benefit that they provide, especially to our children. So thank you for that story and what it's meant for your family.
Yeah, I'd love to see, the park continue to be improved over the years for long after I'm gone and my kids are gone.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for hearing me. Thank you.
Anyone else like to make comments before council? All right, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for coming.